Hey guys, Jackson Savvy here, and today's Windows 10 tutorial is going to cover how to benchmark and change your DNS settings. And this one will only apply to the PC you're using. We're not going to hit it at the router level where it'll change it for all the devices on your network. This will be just for the PC you're using. So to start out, DNS of course is the domain name system. Whenever you type in an internet site such as Facebook or Amazon, anything along those lines, it's actually translating to a string of numbers. So just to kind of show y'all what's going on in the background, we'll go into the command prompt and I'll ping Amazon.com. Now if you'll see right here, this 176 address, that's what the computer is actually going to. The Amazon.com is being translated to this string of numbers, and each website has its own different unique set of numbers to identify where it is. Now where the DNS comes into play is you'll see I've got an IP config pulled up here, and I don't have everything showing because I've got some real tech savvy friends who would love to get a hold of my IP address. But when I pull that up, I can see my DNS servers. And right now I've got it set to Cloudflare and Google. Now if you haven't changed yours will probably be automatically assigned by your ISP. So any website that you go searching for, anything you search for online, it's going through these servers wherever they're located, whether it's your ISP or Google. And that system is what's looking through the whole internet, looking at all the servers to see who has that address for your Amazon.com, Facebook.com. And the reason most people change this is because you've got a few factors here. First one being reliability. If you're using your ISP's DNS servers during peak hours when everybody's on, all that traffic's getting routed through that same place, and they're not nearly as vast as some of the bigger DNS places like Google, Cloudflare and such. So you got reliability. You've also got the path that it travels to find that site. So your ISP might not be as clear cut on the path and might take longer. You've also got privacy concerns. Different DNS servers, especially your ISP, gather all your search info and use that data for targeted advertising, just different kind of metrics that they look at. And the other one that's really important is for safety. As far as being able to hack a DNS server, an ISP that you've probably got on your computer, an ISP's DNS servers are a lot easier to hack. And what that would mean in real world terms is instead of going to google.com, they can automatically turn that around to send you to a malicious site. So security wise, it's a big deal to have a good DNS server that's reliable and is a lot harder for people to hack or change settings in. Now, as you can see, we've got this one pulled up for mine. So if you want to look at yours, you'll just go to a command prompt. You can right click the start button and hit command prompt. And later on we'll be using the administrative command prompt down here. But type in ipconfig space /all. And then you'll be able to scroll through everything until you get to DNS servers. And that'll show you what your primary and secondary are set to. And the place that you change this, and this will come into play later, but I'll go ahead and show y'all, is go ahead and click your start button and go to control panel. And we're going to the old school control panel because I don't like the way Windows 10 navigates everything. You're going to click on your network and sharing center and change adapter settings. Now this will be different depending on if you're wired or running off wireless. And I'm wired, so I'm going to right click that and hit properties. Now the place we're going down to, and this will be for 95 to 97% of people, will be the IPv4. Most people don't have an IPv6. I myself don't. My ISP doesn't offer it. So we go and highlight IPv4 and hit properties. As you can see, mine's set to obtain automatically. Now the reason I'm pulling a Cloudflare and Google DNS because I've got mine set through my router. But once we benchmark them and you need to change them, you'll just click right here for use the following DNS servers, and you'll type in, if you're using Google, your 8, and of course it doesn't tab 8.8.8.8 and 8.8.4.4, which those are Google's primary and secondary. And you can check mark validate settings and then hit OK, and that'll change it on your machine for you. And I'll leave mine automatically since I've got everything set to the router. But that'll be how you change your actual DNS settings within Windows 10. Now we're going to go in and we're going to benchmark some. But before that, I want to make sure my DNS is clear. And what that means is anytime you perform a search, there's a cache built that makes it a little bit quicker to find that site. So we're going to go into command prompt admin, and here we're going to go ahead and do a command to flush our DNS. So type in IP config space / flush DNS, and that's all one word, and hit enter. You'll get a message that successfully flushed that. Now, this is a little bit different for any you networking guys that know about the host file. If you have a host file on your machine, you can program in your own settings to, either identify other devices and their IP addresses, or you can actually program in website addresses. This is also how tech guys mess with each other, such as typing in a host file name for google.com and actually have it pointed to the direction of like Pornhub, something to totally screw with somebody. But now we're going to move on to the benchmarking. So we're going to go ahead and open a window for Internet Explorer or Chrome, whatever you use. Of course, I use Chrome. And go ahead and type in DNS Benchmark and hit enter. Now there's a lot of different programs to do benchmarking. I think Google even has one that's Google Bench. It doesn't seem to be updated as often, so once you type this in, if you want to follow along with the same program I'm going to use, we're going to scroll down until you find the one that says Major Geeks here. And it'll say download DNS Benchmark Major Geeks. And I use them quite a bit because it's safe downloads and it's kind of conglomerates of some of the software that you use when you do a lot of IT stuff. And go ahead and hit right here. These are their download links for download at Major Geeks. And you'll see your download starts at the bottom left. And once it's downloaded, you can go ahead and click on it. Start installing. And this is pretty straightforward. So we'll go ahead and click on name servers. And it's going to tell you here that the list of DNS resolvers is loaded. Now this gets online. It looks for any kind of DNS servers that are available, and it's going to run through the whole gamut and give you kind of a speed test of each one. So all we do now is hit run benchmark, and I'll probably speed up the video because this does take quite a bit. And what we're seeing here on the left hand side, you're going to see the actual IP addresses or the octet for those DNS servers. And the fastest, the way it's sorted, the fastest will be at the top to the slowest at the bottom. Now what we'll be looking for here is, see the highlighted ones that have the little box around them? Those show the DNS servers that you are currently using on your system. In my case, I've got Google is my secondary and Cloudflare is my primary. Now you'll notice that Cloudflare isn't always the fastest, but they don't do data logging and they've got really good reliability. So I wanted to change it up, and I didn't want to have Google as both my primary and secondary in case anything ever happened, like YouTube going down the other day. It could just as easily happen to their DNS servers. And all we do is just let it run through the entire test here, and you'll see a lot of changes. You'll see Google was near the bottom of the list here. Now it's near the top. OpenDNS is always a good option too, but we'll just let it run through, and once it's done, we'll kind of take a look at the results and see how to interpret them. And just to interject while this is running, guys, this will speed up your internet searches as far as how fast it can resolve the name. Now this isn't going to speed up load times for games. The only way this could speed up anything game related is if the game you were playing had a section where it was showing like new news, patch notes, basically external content that you can click on. Depending on the way it's programmed in, if that links to a site, it can help speed up that search, but that's about it. So this is only going to be for internet searches on how fast it actually speeds it up. Okay, and once it's done, guys, you'll get this pop up for this custom resolver list, which we're not even going to get into that. Now usually this is where I'd stop if I'm just wanting to do benchmark, because we can see who the fastest are, and we see that as OpenDNS. We can see which ones I currently use, which is Cloudflare and Google, and how they stack up against the rest here. And this is where you kind of make that determination. You can cross-reference all these different DNS, and depending on, you know, reliability, security, whatever your fancy is and what's most important to you. We do have some tabs at the very end though, and you know, you can look at the names, owners of each one, and if this status tab will tell you if they are available and working. But the data up at the top, the tabs will give you conclusions, and this is just a quick little kind of synopsis of what it saw. It'll tell you, like on mine, more than 20% of the resolvers weren't reliable that it had. Only the built-in ones, because you can download more within this program for it to benchmark, and that's just telling you it used only the ones that were built into the program, and that I have redundant name servers configured, which means I've got a primary and a secondary. So you can just scroll through this list, read through. It'll help you make a little bit more of an informed decision and any changes you might need to make within your system regarding DNS. And once you're at that point and you've made that decision, guys, you can click back over to your name servers, and we'll run through it one more time. Just go to Control Panel, Network and Sharing, change adapter settings, and then right click on whether you're using your wired or your wireless connector to connect to the internet. Go to Properties, IPv4, Properties, and then here's where you'll change it. You'll change it to the 2 DNS servers you want to use. Click Validate and OK. And that'll be it, guys. I would double check once you've changed it to go ahead and reboot. Make sure the settings stuck. You know, jot those name servers down that you changed to just in case. And that's basically it, guys. That'll speed up your browsing and give you the mix of whatever you're looking for, whether it's reliability, security, or just straight speed. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. If you didn't like it, feel free to hit the dislike button, and we'll see you on the next tutorial.